Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Hamdan IDHAAM bin Muhammad MUZAFFAR, and I'm from Group 18. Today, we are going to present our group assignment, which is current price of bungalow for a given size square feet. So, I will start with the data arrangement. For data arrangement 2.1.1, which is frequency distribution. For this step, we have 4 steps to follow. Step 1. Decide on the number of classes. Step 2. Determine the class interval. Step 3. Set the individual class limits. Step 4. Make a tally mark for each data entry in the appropriate class. Step 5. The number of tally mark for a class in the frequency of that class. For step 1, a useful recipe to determine the number of classes k is the 2 to the k rule. For this assignment, the sample is 28 unit, so the power of 2 is 5, because 2 power of 5 equal to 32, greatest from the sample, which is 28. For the step 2, the formula to find class width is max entry minus width mean entry divided by number of classes. So for this section, the max entry for our data is 298.4 minus by mean entry, which is 221.9 divided by number of classes, which is 5. So the class width for our data is 15.3, and I round up to 15.5 to get the gap between class. The next, step 4. Make a tally mark for each data entry in the appropriate class. Step 5. The number of tally mark for a class is the frequency for that class. So as you can see, there are the table that I already provide to show with you. So there are 3 columns, which is classes, tally, and frequency. For the column of classes, just put the upper and lower limit for each class. So the tally will show the number of frequency, which is the first one 6, second one 8, third one 2, fourth one 5, and fifth one 7. So the bar show the number of frequency. For 2.1.2, relative frequency distribution. For the formula for relative frequency distribution is class frequency divided by sample size. So we also use the timetable to provide the data, which is first column is classes, second column is frequency, and third column is relative frequency. As you can see, the relative frequency column show that first classes 6 divided by 28. 6 is the frequency and 28 the sample size. So there will be 0.21, and the second class will be 0.29, third class will be 0.07, fourth class will be 0.18, and fifth class will be 0.25. If we add all of the relative frequency, we will get 1. Next one is 2.1.3, cumulative frequency distribution. For the formula is cumulative frequency of the class equal to sample size. So we need to make a timetable again to analyze the data. The first column is classes, second column is frequency, third column relative frequency, and the fourth column cumulative frequency. The step that we need to do to get the value of cumulative frequency is we need to add the value of frequency for the first class with the second class. So for the example, the frequency for the first class is 6. If we add with the value frequency of the second class, we will get 14. So we need to continue the step until we get the final value equal to the frequency or the sample size. So that's all from me.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera, salam satu Malaysia. My name is Mhthir bin BITIS Sampangong, magic number H1980351, and today we'll be talking about graphical method. So what is graphical method? Graphical method divided by two. One is the frequency polygon table and graph, and the other one is the octave table and graph. So let us talk about the frequency polygon table and graph. So what is frequency polygon table and graph? Frequency polygon is a line graph that emphasize the continuous change in the frequencies. So right now we have the table and graph that represents the frequency polygon. We have table 1 here as shown on the screen right now. We have class, midpoint, and frequency. So let us talk one by one. So here we have class. Class, we have up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 class, up to 5 class. We have 5 midpoints and we have 5 frequencies. So let us talk about the classes, talk about the midpoints, and then we go to the frequencies. The classes here, we have 221.9 till 237.1. This is the first class that we see currently, and for it for the midpoint is 229.5. So how do we calculate the midpoint? It's actually an easy to calculate this. One of the first way to calculate is we take a calculator, we plus 221.9 plus 237.1. We have a total of 459. After we get the total, we divided that by 2, and we have 229.5. Just at the screen, that just like the table that's currently being shown. So this is how we calculate midpoints, and we will do this for each and every class. And the midpoints is important sometimes, because sometimes we don't want to create a lot of classes in our table. For our frequency, we have 6 for the first line. For the second line is 8. The third line is 2. The fourth line is 3, and the last line is 7. For midpoints, the first one is 229.5. Second one is 244.8. The third one is 260.1. The fourth one 278.4, and the last one is 290.7. So let's talk about the frequency polygon table. So as you can see right now, as shown in the screen, we have the frequency polygon table. Nothing much that need to be explained, which rather than the frequency that will be on the left, showing the frequency and how much frequency, and right here we have the midpoints for each midpoint that currently being calculated right here. So this is how we calculate frequency polygon. Now, alright, now we are going to talk about octave table and graph. So what is octave table and graph? An octave table, an octave graph is a line graph that displays the cumulative frequency of each classes at its upper classes boundary. Table 1 shows right now. The table 1 shows the data set for an octave for the frequency distribution and graph, and currently graph 1 represents the octave graph. So we have table 1, frequency polygon. So let's talk about the frequency polygons. We have class, boundaries, we have class, we have lower boundaries, upper boundaries, and midpoint, as well as frequency. We know how to calculate midpoint and we know our frequency already. So let us count what is lower boundaries and upper boundaries. So lower boundaries is, for example, the classes here. The class that's currently being shown is 221.9 and 237.1. For lower boundaries, how we calculate this? We minus 0.5. So 0.5, 221.9, 221.9 minus 0.5, we have a total number of 221.4. That is how we calculated for lower boundaries for each classes. For upper boundaries, we have 237.1, and the way we calculate this is we plus 0.5. So the amount that will be received for upper boundaries is 237.6. So the frequency polygon for lower boundaries for each class is 221.4, 236.7, 252.0, 267.3, 282.6. For upper boundaries, 237.6, 252.9, 268.2, 283.5, and 298.8. So as you can see right over here, we have the current price of RM000 of bungalows for a given size square feet in Alustar, Kedah. So we have the graph bar chart here, graph 2. We have the frequency, like normal, we have the frequency on the left side, and then on the on the downside here we have the classes. So this is the OGIF table and graph. That is all from me. I will send you towards the next presenter, and bye bye.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is NURJALILAH binti BUSTAMI, metric number H19A0552. Today, I would like to present about the measure of center tendency. First of all, measure of center tendency is a summary statistics that represents the center point of typical value of the data set. The mean, median, and mode are all valid measure of the center tendency, but under different conditions. Some measure of center tendency become more appropriate to use than others. The first is mean. Mean is equal to the sum of all the values in the data set divide the numbers of value in the data set. So the formula is X is equal frequency divided by the numbers of classes. Median. Median is the middle score for a set of data that has been arranged in order of magnitude. There are 5 steps how to find the mean. First of all, we need to determine the location of the median classes to find the observations. Next, we need to find the lower class of boundary. Third, we need to find the classes of size. Fourth, we need to determine cumulative frequency and frequency of the median classes. And lastly, we need to calculate the median using the data that given to get the right answer. Mode. Mode is the most frequency score in our data set. There are 5 steps how to count the mode. First of all, we need to find the highest frequency in the data given. Step 2, we need to determine the lower classes boundary. Step 3, we need to determine the classes of size. Step 4, we need to determine the difference between frequency before model class and after model class. And last one, we need to calculate all the data given and find the mode.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad IZZAT SYAFIQ bin SAINI, and today I will explain about my part in this group assignment. So my part is measure of variation. Okay, the first of all, we are going to the definition of measure of variation. The measure of variation or data distribution is described using the data distribution measure of variation. It describes how much variety there is in a random variable. Some parameters seek to represent the amount of variance between random variable using central tendency metric. There are three types parameter that we use to quantify the amount of variation. The first one is the random of variable such as range, variance, and standard deviation. Okay, we're going to the first formula. The name is range. There are upper class boundary of the highest interval, and the second one is lower classes boundary of the lowest interval. So the solution is the number of classes 298.4 minus 221.9. So the answer is 76.5. Okay, now we're going to variance. The formula to measure variance is there are three types: F, X, and N. F is for frequency of classes, X is midpoint of class, and N is number of entry in the sample. And the next step is mean. Mean X 7317.35 divide 28. So the equal is 261.33. Mean is a calculation method used to ensure the overall average of the data. Mean is always used in some matter. As an example of our study run, we use mean to calculate the total amount of current price of bungalow for given size square feet in Al-Staqda. Mean is therefore is a easy method to use to calculate the overall average in statistic. There are several mean ways to calculate in statistic. To identify a set of data in study, the mean value is also called the expected value of average. Means the central value of a set of number. Provide the formula of the mean of group data show. The third formula is standard deviation. The standard deviation is a measure of how spread of number. So therefore the sample variance is about 7017.35, and the sample of calculation standard deviation is about 28.85.
First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is NURJALILAH binti RAHIM. My matric card number is H1A0591. Now we move to measure of position, which is quarter. Quarter are the value of the variable that divide a set of observation into 4 equal parts. Each set of observation has 3 quarters, and they are denoted by Q1, Q2, and Q3. The first quarter Q1 is a value in the dataset that 25% of the values fall below Q1 and 75% of the value fall above Q1. The second quarter Q2 is a value in the dataset that 55% of the values fall below Q2 and 50% of the values fall above Q2. The third quarter Q3 is a value in the dataset that 75% of the values fall below Q3 and 25% of the value fall above Q3. Now we move to how to calculate Q1. Okay, we use the formula Q equal L plus in bracket N divide 4 minus F divide by F times C. Okay, first step, we need to find N divide 4, which is 28 divide 4 equal 7. L is 237.4 minus 0.5. The equal is 236.9. F is 6, C 16.4, F 8. So to find Q1, we use the formula 236.9 plus 7 minus 6 divided by 8 times 16.4. So the calculate is 236.9 divide in bracket 0.125 times 16.4. So 236.9 236.9 236.9 plus 2.05. We calculate and the value is 238.95. Now let's see how to find value Q3. Okay, the formula is Q equal L plus 3N divide 4 in bracket minus F, capital F, divide by F, small letter, times C. Okay, first step, we need to find 3N divide 4. We have 21. L is 268.4 minus 0.5, which is 267.9. F is 19. C is 14.4. F is 5. Okay, the value of Q3 we use the formula that given. 267.9 plus in bracket 21 minus 16 divided by 5 times 14.4. So 267.9 minus in bracket 267.9 plus in bracket 3 times 14.4. So we have 267.9 plus 43.2. So the value of Q3 is 311.1. To find interquartile range, the formula is Q3 minus Q1. Okay, the value of Q3, 311.1 minus the value of Q1, 238.95. So the answer is 72.15. In conclusion, to calculate the current price of bungalows for a given size in Alustar Kedah, we use several methods such as data arrangement, graphical methods, inclination measures, and position measurement. That's all. Thank you.